Welcome to the SBM course. My name's Kieran Doe. I'm a senior tutor at ACA Masters and multiple ICAEW prize winner. And I look forward to getting you through your SBM exam with top marks. So whilst the SBM exam contains 2 questions, each question has a series of sub-requirements. So therefore you could see each question as having multiple questions within it. And therefore, rather the exam being simply 2 questions, it's actually more like 7, 8, 9 smaller questions. So to demonstrate what I mean, there'll be 2 questions in the SBM exam. Question 1 is usually worth more. So perhaps we would have 60 marks for question 1 and 40 marks for question 2. But when you come down to the actual requirements, so the things you have to do, you'll see that there are various requirements here, so various questions. And therefore, typically you'd have somewhere between 3 and 6 questions per question, 6 or 7 requirements per question. And each question typically relates to a specific exhibit or several exhibits. So therefore you can see each question is broken down into several sub-questions. So as I said, it's perhaps more appropriate to view SBM as having more like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, perhaps as many as 12 questions within it. Now each question can be categorized as either data and financial analysis, business strategy, financial management, financial reporting, assurance, or ethics. So if we look at this question here, we can see we've got one where we need to evaluate the performance of the business. We've got one here where we need to look at MPV, so perhaps project appraisal, financial reporting, and ethics. So this would be a typical SBM exam in that you've got these various sub-questions. You can break the question down into these smaller sub-questions. And each question in SBM can be categorized as one of these question types. So therefore, the course focuses on each question type and each topic individually. So we break SBM down into these smaller question types. And within each question type, there are various subtopics. So what we'll do in each class is I'll firstly provide some technical tuition where I explain the key technical content in a way that's very easy to understand, where I simplify the content and I explain how it's likely to be examined in the exam. Immediately after, I'll work through some recent exam questions in full so I can demonstrate exactly how you should read and interpret the requirement, which exhibits you should read in which order, how you should structure your answer in terms of headings, and also in terms of how to write each point. Writing style, of course, is very important in SBM. And I'll also remind you of the key points you should look to include in your answer. So as an example, if you go to the SBM page of our website and you go down to the video course section, you can see how the course is structured. So if we have a look here, you can see the course is structured by each question type. So as we said, data analysis, business strategy, financial management, financial reporting, assurance, and ethics is covered when we look at the full SBM exam questions towards the end of the course. And you can see for each question type, there's various subtopics. So we can kind of break each question type down into various topics. Now for each topic, each question type, I'll firstly explain the key technical content So if we take a technically heavy topic like investment appraisal, the class will firstly involve me explaining the key technical content, and we include a professional level revision class here as well, because that's very important. There's a huge amount of brought forward content in SBM, particularly for the FM and FR based questions. So therefore you can watch the professional level recap class where I explain the key technical content. There is then the SBM class where I'll explain the additional content that you need to understand, and then I'll work through some recent exam questions. So FM, of course, broken down, and investment appraisal being one of those first topics we'll cover. So I'll begin by explaining the key technical content, how to discount the cash flows, including how to use the spreadsheet function in the exam, why discounting cash flows is a superior method than looking at accounting profits, and how to calculate each number and the most efficient way to work through exam questions. I'll also explain how to calculate the present value of annuities, perpetuities, etc., and what they represent. We'll also think about international projects and how we would account for those and how to deal with those when they come up in exam questions. That's, of course, a new area for SBM. And then I'll work through some recent questions so I can show you exactly how to read the requirement, how to interpret it, how to use the exam paper information, and perhaps most importantly, the type of points you should look to include in your answer. So when I work through the recent questions, I'll kind of remind you of the types of points you should look to include in your answer, such as identifying particular assumptions, questioning them, stating that they're unrealistic, for example, a perpetuity or perpetual growth, how to question some of the data provided in the question and how to undertake statistical analysis, as well as some more general points to consider, including like strategic and operational issues, and of course, reminding you to conclude and recommend at the end. So therefore, you can see that the way the classes are structured, I'll firstly teach you that key technical content in a nice, easy, simple way. So it's very easy to understand. And we'll be thinking about how it could be brought into exam scenarios. So retaining an explicit exam focus throughout. Immediately after, I'll work through recent exam questions so you can see exactly how you should be approaching the exam questions, how you should be structuring your answer, how you should be using the exam paper, and the types of points you should be including in your answer in order to score top marks. Then after the class, you can then go away, make sure you've understood that technical content, but most importantly, go away and practice several other recent exam questions, one after the other. You would have just seen me work through some questions and demonstrate how to get those top marks and the types of points to include. So what you then need to do is go away and practice those exam techniques that I've demonstrated and practice applying that technical content. So after the class where you've seen me work through recent questions, you can then go away and practice some of the other questions so that you can work on that exam technique and practice that exam technique that I have demonstrated during the class. And once you've done that and you've gone away and you've done a few investment appraisal questions, you'll start to feel very comfortable on that topic and you would have kind of mastered that topic. You'd have understood the key technical content. You would have worked through questions. You'd have worked on your exam technique and you would have been applying that technical content in an exam scenario. So testing yourself in a most effective way, i.e. by testing yourself actively, but in that exam scenario, in that scenario that you are actually going to be examined in that environment. And you can start to see how the same points come up and you can start to see how the examiners like to examine the subject. If you read the examiner's comments, you can see the key weaknesses in student scripts. So you can really just kind of drill in and focus on that individual topic and have that exam focus throughout. So then once you've gone through and you've mastered investment appraisal, you can then start to go through the next topic. So the next topic would be finance. Now, as I've said with these FM-based questions, there's a lot of brought forward content from FM. So we've included all of that as part of the course. So you can remind yourself on the basics, different sources of finance, cost of capital, gearing, adjusted present value, etc. So get back up to speed with that brought forward technical content, and then you can watch the SBM class where I explain the additional content, and then again work through some recent questions so I can show you exactly how to answer the questions and the types of points to include. You will then go away and then practice the questions listed in the master plan so that you can then go away and practice that exam technique and master that topic. And then we'll just keep working through the course, topic by topic, mastering one at a time. So you can see the course will go through each question type and each topic one by one. You master them all one by one. And then at the end of the course, we'll focus on overall exam technique. So we've taken it kind of one question type at a time, mastered them all one by one, and then we'll bring it together at the end. So I'll work through a recent exam paper in full so I can show you how to allocate your time to each question and which exhibits you should read in which order. And you can see me kind of jump from question type to question type because that's what you're going to have to do in the exam. So we'll start off by mastering it one topic at a time because breaking it down makes it so much more manageable initially. And then at the end, we'll bring it together where I work through full exam questions and work on that kind of time allocation, jumping from question type to question type. And of course, you can then go away and then practice the other recent exam questions and the ICAEW mock exams as well to perfect your exam technique and get your timing absolutely spot on, as I will have demonstrated in the questions. To demonstrate how the classes work, we've included some free sample classes which you can view on the SBM page of our website. So we've included one for finance, so you can see me explain the additional SBM content, and then most importantly, see me work through some SBM exam questions where I can show you how to work through the questions and the type of points to include in your answer. We've also included a class, one of the final classes, where I work through a recent exam question in full. So just head to the video player on the SBM page of our website, and then you can watch the free sample classes there. So these are available for ICAEW students. Our materials are sold separately from the video course. They are included in the live course, but they're sold separately for the video course, and these can be purchased on the same page further below, and are a great companion to the video course, as you can see, because they have the key technical content by topic, so financial management, financial reporting, assurance, ethics, statistics, etc. So we've got all of those question types, we've got the key technical content, and perhaps most importantly, you can see they've got those reminders of the types of points to include in your answer, as well as a list of questions for you to go away and practice after each class. So you've got the questions broken down by a topic, and you've got reminders of the points to include in your answer. And you'll see me use these when I work through exam questions in full as part of the SBM classes. So by breaking SBM down by topic, teaching you the key technical content, showing you the exam technique you should use for each question type, I have every confidence that I'll get you through your SBM exam with top marks. Many students have had great success with my SBM tuition classes, both the live class and the video classes, and you can view some recent student feedback here. This focus on exam technique has proved to be very successful for our students. So provided that you put the work in, you watch the class for each topic, you go away and practice several questions after each class, you will also master SBM one topic at a time. Closer to the exam, you can bring it all together by working through full SBM questions, and you too will master the SBM exam.